Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Forge of Champions. I'm with Gosu and Dowsy, and I am Xscoundrel. I did it the other way around this time, just for fun. We are moving into the next game of this XL Enclave series. Enclave took a massive win in the first game after capitalizing on a huge error from XL and Monkeys. Like I said, the Baron King Steel of the UK scene. Did I say that right? The Baron Steel King? Yeah, I did. Of the UK scene. Obviously did it again, somehow on one of his signature champions. So, we've got to move into the next draft phase. I'm wondering what XL and Ferndog behind him are going to be able to sort of change things up. Are they going to be banning Darius in that second phase? Are they going to try and limit that champion pool for Monkeys? Take away Sejuani, take away Gragas. Sometimes it can put him a little bit out of kilter. Enclave doing exactly how they did in the last Forge of Champions, though, looking super strong, and XL have to come back because they look like they tilted a little bit after that Baron fight.
I personally think that the team that actually has to do the most adjustment is actually Enclave. XL, they look strong in almost every lane, apart from the top side, where of course Rift was able to run away with his signature Darius. But like the Nami pick for Hado, it didn't shine. Eren Zazir didn't really do much throughout the game. I mean, Monkeys on Gragas was fine. Yeah, that was good.
Nice.
And I think that, you know, Bendy on Caitlyn was okay, but kind of got let down by the fact that it didn't have any pressure in the lane to kind of allow him to stay afloat against the Varus. So honestly, I don't really think XL are going to adjust too much coming into this game, unless Enclave adjusts enough that forces it.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of wanted to see something like a Karma locked in rather than the Nami. You still kind of get a little bit of the help with the sustain and stuff because of the shields, but the big thing for me was just the pushing pressure. Caitlyn needs something there to help her push. It's great you can get that poke down, but with the corrupting potion that we've started to see being picked up by ADCs on this patch, it just doesn't make any sense to go with it. Just make sure that you got enough pushing power to get it done, and then you can try and see Bendy go for that pick. I want to see him transition over something like the Varus though.
So
it's just such a strong pick.
So what do Enclave need to shore up to ensure they don't fall behind in the mid game? Is it that bot lane specifically?
I think it is a little bit of the bot lane, but also in the mid as well. They were kind of... The mid lane for me was, it was nice to see the Azir come through in expectation of the Orianna, but the Syndra was still there, and the Syndra was kind of let them down a little bit, or at least, sorry, was good for XL, but a difficulty for Enclave.
Sure. And
especially with Fizz, how strong Fizz is on this patch, I think blind picking Azir like that is a bit of a ballsy move. I think you got to figure out something else first.
So we're moving on to... Oh my god, I forgot to do my button up on my shirt, and now
I do one more down then.
Now I look like like one of those guys in Vegas who are just like going around with the... I just noticed when I was leading forward, I was like, wow, that's a lot of skin you're showing there, Xscoundrel. Anyway, yeah, picks and bans. Similar stuff, but Enclave banning the Galio this time round. It's going to be Jhin, Galio, Zoe ban coming out from XL.
Clearly Galio, a pick that both these mid laners want to get their hands on, but also don't want to, you know, first pick here. Very difficult times. Maybe as this series develops, get towards that 4th, 5th game, the Galio ban drops and we get to see it.
I think it's something that's going to stay up though. It just, both these teams have shown that they're able to do incredibly well with it, and it just enables early game plays incredibly well. Rippy and Eren, either guy gets his hands on it, and the opposite bot lane is going to be in a heap of trouble.
This forces a Morgana pick, you feel like, from XL because of the Caitlyn first pick coming out for Bendy. That's a high priority for Enclave so far. And you feel like XL could just respond with Morgana Varus again.
Why go with anything else? It completely destroyed the lane, and that I love Varus because of the versatility of the champion. It's like, cool, we want to siege comp, great, we just go Comet as the rune and we take up this lethality build.
Right.
We want to go with an AD mid, great, we got the AP build. We want to, actually gonna go with the Ashe, but I mean, you
Ashe Morgana, Varus Morgana, I think both. You just don't want to give, unless you want them to pick Morgana for a reason, and then you counter it with something, well, counter, so something like a Karma, like you said, but. You just feel because of the Caitlyn, you need to have that Morgana now locked in. And it's one of those trifecta draft situations where it's like, well, if they lock in Xayah, you either have to lock in Rakan, and it's the same thing with Caitlyn Morgana.
Yeah, and especially when they locked in the Ashe too, if they end up having that Morgana over, we saw that yesterday in our series where Morgana was just able to black shield everything and Bendy was able to run away with it. So, I mean, this time around, you got to pick it up. It means that you've got a heap of pressure around that level 6, and again I can just see Bendy and Hado having too much pressure on their shoulders and not being able to perform.
I mean, do we go for something that's super kill pressure related, the Pike, and really just try to win this lane against a low mobility Ashe, or like how much of an adjustment do you want in the spotlight? Karma.
Yeah, the Karma. I think it's a solid pick for the bot lane. It shoves and can put pressure on Morgana early. There's not much that you have bothered about getting black shielded as the Morgana. And the Azir comes through very early here from Enclave. I can see you gritting your teeth just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I mean, yes, you can ban away the picks that are going to cause issues like that Syndra, but I would have much preferred to see them pick up a strong jungler for Monkeys. This is just easy for Excel now to either pick up the Syndra now, as I close my book in disgust. But just pick up the Syndra now, or else they just ban away a bunch of junglers and they lock in one for themselves. I mean, you're just putting yourself in a difficult place. And Azir isn't the champion right now that you're like, we must ban this for the mid lane. I mean, they're obviously going to be focused on that top lane a lot more. Just let it fall through, pick up a jungler, and then you get the Azir second rotation regardless.
So now obviously we're thinking Sendo's going to get the top lane priority when it comes to final pick on the red side. You don't think you Baron Darius now because you're red side. I mean, you can always counter it with Sendo's Gnar, unless you see Enclave ban champions that make it look like they want to ban the sort of pick the Darius up, but the Darius ban goes through anyway.
Something we didn't touch on was Enclave banning the Aatrox.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually a red side ban, but they've obviously, well, they're either one, not comfortable on Rift having it, or they just know that Sendo can beat it. I mean, we saw yesterday with that Fiora, he looks incredibly strong against it, so for me, that's just more of a telling that Excel can be like, cool, we can just leave Aatrox open because Enclave are going to ban it.
So Gnar ban actually does come through here. And again, this maybe lends it to once more thinking that Enclave might pick up a tank, just because, you know, a lot of those tanks in top lane don't do too particularly well against Gnar. And obviously, maybe something that doesn't quite have the split push pressure of the Darius that we saw previously.
Yeah. There's also, like, don't forget, there are picks like the Gangplank that's there, especially with Darius off the board. So they could go for something like along the lines of that. But I am curious to see now. I actually thought there'd be a lot more pressure towards those jungle picks. Either way, Monkus will still get his hands on the Gragas, on the Sejuani, which have been the two big picks for him. You could also see a much more aggressive style come out from Taxer this time around. With Kindred off the board, you could see the Nocturne locked in just here. Yeah, there's the Urgot banned away from Sendu. So I wouldn't actually mind a Taxer going with the Nocturne here. I think you've got great setup with the Ashe. You can just pillar or get the pillar because it's all Trundle. You get the enchanted arrow down in the bottom lane. You set that lane up incredibly well. You can get the kill there. You can set it up in the mid lane as well. I mean, you pretty much put Enclave on edge for the entirety of it, but they're going to go with the Trundle instead. So
the Trundle coming through is just solid for Taxer. I think it does well against a lot of Monkus' traditional jungles like the Sejuani, like the Gragas. And obviously now Enclave have that decision to make. And obviously I'm really interested to see what they do pick up for Rifty. You feel like it would be a more safe top laner, something that can just farm, or something that can just have utility as the game scales upwards. It's very difficult to pick a top laner that's going to have split push pressure versus something that Sendu has as a last pick.
Yeah, there is the Camille still open though. Yep. There is stuff like Fiora. You still got a lot of these big split pushers, but I think with what Excel have right now, I wouldn't mind seeing a top laner that can at least join in these fights.
Oh, that's
you've got a heap of engage, but not an awful lot of follow-up damage. Syndra, burst damage. Ashe isn't really your big damage dealer in the later stages of the game. She's much more utility-based. So you're looking towards a big damage dealer in the top lane. And right now, I'm actually not sure what you bring through.
Ooh, that is interesting from Sendo. I haven't seen him play Poppy for quite a while. It's considered a decent matchup. We saw Dan XD start to school Rifty on that Camille eventually. And I think Camille is a solid safe pick if you want to play a split push type champion in the top lane for Rifty, because it doesn't have too many bad matchups and things like Darius are already banned. So
it's really interesting because yesterday after kind of Rift was able to dominate Dan XD the previous time they met with this matchup, Dan XD, came back a lot more stronger on the Poppy and, showed us why this is considered a bit of a counter to the Camille. However, even though Rift was put behind due to this, he was super impactful in the team fights on this Camille. Found so many great engages. His Hextech ultimatums really made short work of the, marksman's getting picked up. And we have an Ashe here. It's going to be super difficult to give her any positional priority when she has to worry about a Hextech ultimatum.
See, the biggest issue I have with that was that, yes, Rift was able to beat him, but it was eventually. And now we're looking at, if we're comparing apples to apples from the last game, it was the 4-man was losing because Azir couldn't get to his items and be that big team fighter. Caitlyn couldn't do it either, and it was Rift had to be the one to hold on to a lane, cause some pressure somewhere so they could just try and get some items under their belt. Now we're looking at Rift, who needs to get an even more expensive 2-item lead so then he can try and get going, and I just don't see where they're going to get the opportunity to do that. Excel have so much engage, so much long range engage too, that it's going to be so hard for Enclave to hold
it. It comes down to whether or not Bendy and Hado can survive the bot lane. Because Eren, even though he was behind, he didn't feed, he didn't lose his life whatsoever until his very ambitious dive into a team fight. And actually, he was the second most damage dealer throughout the game on his Azir. So he was a pretty strong point for the entirety of Enclave. I don't think he's going to have a game again where he really struggles against the Syndra to a point where it's like, I don't know if this Azir pick's working. However, if Bendy and Hado can't weather the storm that was thrown at them in Game 1 on this Caitlyn pick again, then that's where the issue really comes, because then, yes, you do rely on Rift to be the impactful player, which is hard when you're in a matchup that's typically a losing one.
Are you slightly worried about XL damage output from their composition in the late game scaling? Because we got to a decent late game scaling point last time and Enclave ripped them apart. I'm slightly worried about the fact that XL has limited damage output.
I am worried, but I don't think they hit a point where it becomes a factor. I think that's what XL are planning here. When you've got Poppy wins the lane, and you've got Syndra who wins the lane, and you've also got the bottom lane who are just going to win as well in that respect. I think this time around it's just that XL last time they didn't have the outright win because of the pressure that Rift was able to put down, and they had to go to respond to that. This time around I don't think Rift is going to have that much pressure, and I think that's just going to allow them to snowball that advantage. We saw them once they shut down Rift, they could take over the game, but it was getting that first block under the belt.
So you think Tax is going to have a bit more freedom to be elsewhere on the map right now, meaning that Rifty will not strain those resources away from XL? I kind of agree. I think let's have a look at the win conditions now. Again, this is my wonderful term where I probe Gosu for the win conditions. What do you think win conditions are for both these squads? Yeah,
I mean, it's Enclave. We've already said it. Wait, just wait until you get your Camille's going to be ahead, your Caitlyn's going to be ahead. Well, to a certain extent, I suppose. In this time around, they've got a little bit more pushing power in the bot lane with that Karma, which we touched on. Just try and push as heavily as you can, see if you can get that tower and get past that really terrible mid game. If you can get that going, you're in a great spot, but it's a case of if you can. For the side of XL, it's just utilize the massive amount of CCU of the bottom lane to start getting these lanes rolling, shut down that Caitlyn pressure and that Karma pressure, and then see if you can get the tower and do the same as last game. Just start to pick off these people around the map and make it easy for you.
And the one thing that in Game 1 that I felt like XL weren't really able to utilize was this super strong Syndra, due to the fact that Rift was such a powerhouse. He was constantly forced to rotate towards the top side or wherever Rift was to try and match and wave clear with the immense amount of wave clear that Syndra obviously offers. So in this game, with Rift potentially not going to be able to have that same amount of impact until later on in the game, you actually have this more open field for Syndra to have the impact that she wants to do after she hits level 6. And for XL, they can utilize that, especially towards the bot lane. This could be a much drastic lead that XL can pick up earlier on.
Yeah, and I think just on that Syndra, we saw the poke that she was able to have once they were able to stop Rift in that split push. I mean, they were just pushing Enclave away from those towers so easily. And I think if you've got that set up from the beginning, which it looks like they might have the opportunity to do this time around, I don't see Enclave having that inlet to be like, cool, now we can get the fight here, or we can collapse here, because they're just going to be huddled underneath those turrets.
So, do you think this is cut and dry, as XL need to win the mid game and snowball it?
Yeah, I think they just lose out otherwise. I mean, Caitlyn just scales super well into the late game. You've got a big split pusher in that Camille, same as you were just touching on with Rift yesterday. I mean, once he got to those two items, pushing that kind of third item, he just was able to destroy Dan XD in that lane, and it's exactly what we're going to see this time around as well.
So I'm going to offer you that opportunity, as always, to consider a flip-flop. You both went XL, I'm going to say 3-2, 3-1, that's what it was. What do you think? You going to stick with that prediction?
I'm going to stick with it. I mean, we saw that they are capable of kind of throwing the game away when they have those advantages, and if they do that again this time around, Enclave have the opportunity to get into it.
Just like flip-flop prices are rising, of course. With the previous win, my stock is going up. How about you, Dalsy?
What's the price, by the way?
You kind of just
does it go from like a
bottle of water,
to a McFlurry to a...
All right, okay. I will put a tangible price on these flip-flops. If you were to invest in the flip-flop now, it would be worth a bottle of water. If XL end up winning, it's negative bottle of water, so you owe me a bottle of water. If
I'm not flip-flopping, by the way.
You're not flip-flopping.
Yeah.
If you were to invest now and then Enclave win, you would get a McBurry.
A McFlurry.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So they're not going to invest in the flip-flop. We're into the game, and this is going to be the second between XL and Enclave.
All right. Let's see if XL are going to be able to refortify after that loss, or if the momentum game Enclave have won is going to carry them on through to a second here. I think consensus is that XL have the tools necessary in game 1 to win, and they threw it. They have the tools necessary to win in game 2, but there's now a ticking time bomb over their heads.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be a case of, can they accelerate the game enough? They have what they need to do so. It's just going to be how do they approach the game in a way that allows them to utilize those tools to great effect. I think when you've got Venzer on this Ashe and you've got Quicksilver and Morgana, that is the biggest indication to me where they're going to put that pressure. Because you can go down there with Taxer, he's got press the attack, he'll do a heap of damage if he can get onto a CC target.
And look at where these junglers have started. Taxer started bot side, now going towards the top, whereas Monkus has started top, going towards the bot. Clearly, Enclave are going to focus on their bot side here, try and potentially shore up the advantage that was XL's in the previous game, whereas Taxer is going to try and make sure that Sendo has a good time in top lane already, making his way up towards that top side.
I actually feel like nearly Enclave threw XL through a bit of a loop, because if I'm looking at the compositions coming through from Enclave, I'm like, cool, I want to get Monkus up into that top lane and start Rift snowballing as early as possible. If he can get ahead, now we've got this big pressure that we saw in the last game as well. And I think that's what XL were expecting. You can see Taxer's wandering through the jungle, trying to see if he can spot anything. And I was expecting that at some stage to find Monkus up here.
Man, Rift he's hard and committed to this. Looking for the first blood, but no, minions are going to help him. He's already used his flash. Taxer flashes on in, and it's just one more auto attack for the first blood to the Trundle.
I want to say calculated, but that was clearly not. Sendo did not expect as much as he bargained for, but did manage to get out of that one. And it looked really good. It looks like Rift was...
Oh man, Bendy's in trouble. Look at that. Ignite comes on through. He looks like he's just going to be able to walk away here, but already we're starting to see this lane in the bot side coming on true for XL.
Yeah, and mid and top as well. I mean, across the board, XL are just having wins. Bendy, Force, Cleanse, Flash, and that just makes it an easy target now for Taxer, who's going to be going back, using the gold that he's just picked up from that first blood, and if he gets down, press the attack onto Bendy.
Oh, look at this. Taxer is back up top side as well. Monkus in the mid lane. That slow should be enough to stop any Flash body slam shenanigans. Already you're starting to see potentially the downfall of the Camille on the top side to the Poppy through just one gank.
It is going to take like 1 to 2 backs before Sendu can really take over this lane. He does want to get a little bit of armor, get a few levels in, and then he can really start to trade back. But you're going to see the replay coming through here. And it was good timing by Rift. The steadfast presence goes down and he goes for the engage. And this is where you're like, great, he's got him. But Sendu actually didn't hit him, so he's not taking minion aggro. He doesn't fall, and it's easy for Taxer to get in at that stage. It's already the hook shot gone, the flash is gone, and once that pillar goes through, he's dead.
Yeah, absolutely. Rough times for Rift. It was one of those very aggressive, plays where you don't have the jungle pressure. Sendu does, and so you either get this first blood and potentially lose your life, or you don't. And you've overcommitted for just the potential game, and I appreciate it for Rift as well. You're in a lane that's going to be hard. If you can get that first blood, it makes things a little bit easier.
Yeah, but both junglers now have a lot of places they can go and visit. If you're looking at top side, both the flashes are down. Bottom lane as well, Hado is the only one out of all 4 members there who have a flash. So Monkus and Taxer both have they're pick of the litter right now, and I want to see how they go about it. Taxer right now, we're already saying we'll probably want to go and visit this bot lane, as there's quite a lot that he can do against Bendy.
I mean, he's looking for it, knocks back Bendy here. Oh, that's a beautiful binding to root up Bendy, and that is Venza picking up a kill on the bot side. Fantastic stuff from Quickset there as well.
Yeah, really nice play from Quickset, knowing that he was going to be able to catch the binding just as Bendy tries to get around that one. And this is what we were already saying. Actually, hang on a second.
Monkus is here. That's going to be the body slam onto Sendo. Oh, good steadfast presence. Stops Rift from the re-engage. Hextech ultimatum available, but he's not in range. Sendo's going to walk away safely.
I was really surprised Sendo got out of that one, particularly once the hammer time didn't get them knocked away. Enclave weren't able to finish it off, though, thanks to that nice steadfast presence, and he's able to walk out. So 2 ganks coming through for XL, and both have been successful, whereas nothing has really come through in the way of Enclave.
No, absolutely. Rough times ahead for Enclave. This is exactly the win condition XL wanted as well. Get ahead early, be able to continue to pressure on to the Enclave roster. It's attempt number 2 here. I think Sendo survives this one. Yep, great body slam to stop that hammer time. And the Hextech Ultimatum make sure that Sendo can't escape.
Can
I mean, what? I mean,
there's Aaron.
Here's Aaron. I think he's fine.
Run, buddy!
There's Rift finally finding the kill. There was a moment of hesitation there, though. I guess they wanted to make sure that Aaron could get the assist.
Yeah.
It's calculated plays, is what that was.
Oh, yes. Well, I didn't doubt them for a second. I forgot that we weren't in the TP meta, and I was expecting a teleport to come through at some point there and help him out, but Sendo not this time, left on his lonesome, and will go down to all the pressure coming through from Enclave, and this is where we expected them to put the pressure down. Not surprising in the least, but Rift has got a long way to go before he really becomes the same menace that he was in the Darius. I mean, if he gets the 6 kills, that would definitely help out, but I don't see that being a repeat performance this time around.
Okay. Just clearly not a believer. Gosu. Sad times. Feels bad, man. At the moment, though, Quicksef and Venza are having a great time in the bot side. Already got that first kill for themselves. Try and keep Bendy behind. And holy moly, we're going to talk about CS leads. What's happened in the jungle?
Taxer's happened in the jungle, to be honest. He's just run away with this. I mean, both successful ganks have come through. He's been able to get an early team mat for himself, and he's just been rampaging through these camps with delight.
Is this taking jungle tax to a whole new level?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a long time since I've seen a 26 CS lead for a jungler, especially at the level that these two teams are at.
There you go. Has science gone too far?
Just in the case of Mad Troll King a little bit.
I mean, look at the experience that's been, this experience level. It's a level 7 Trundle to a level 5 Gragas at this point. It's not been a good game so far for Monkus. Got that assist, yeah, for sure, but at what cost is the question that we'll ask ourselves for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and I feel like Monkus isn't going to have a huge amount of pressure from now on, just because of the way I'm looking at the vision control that's down for XL. They've got deep control wards, vision wards in the red side, or in the blue side jungle up towards that blue buff. You've got a heap of vision down around this red bottom side as well. You've got Morgana as well, which is going to just help them out in avoiding everything. So right now, they pretty much know where Monkus is going to be at all points in time.
And Rift is playing a fairly nice Camille into this Poppy. The Sheen proc doing a lot of work onto Sendo. A little bit more confident, you could say, in today's matchup than he was yesterday. Here comes the Trundle to the bot side. This time the Pillar not going to find it when he finds. Rift misses the hook shot, but here comes the Hextech Ultimatum. Hammer Time knocks him out. Here's Aaron. I don't think Aaron can find the kill. Another roam towards the top side, but this one won't have any profits. Monkus is hanging around the bot side as well, but so is Taxa.
Yeah, this is where I'm looking to see. This is where I thought XL were going to try and put the pressure down now that level 6 has been hit for this bot lane. Enchanted Crystal Arrow plus the lockup that can come through from a Morgana would be absolutely devastating for someone like Bendy or even Hado now who has no cleanse available. But you can see the Enchanted Crystal Arrow was used aggressively and just bopped away from Quickset now, looking to see if he can pick something.
Ooh, that binding. Will Quickset over a step. Monkus is still down here. They're really relying on the fact that they know that Taxa is not, but there is just no window of opportunity for the gank.
There's so much time wasted by Monkus there, though. He's been sitting there a very long time, not farming, not doing anything, and this is just letting this lead that Taxer has been building up grow even further.
Guess we have the answer to our question. How's this happened? Monkus trying to find ganks that just weren't going to happen. Now Taxer back in the bot side just to continue pressuring in onto Bendy and Hado here. 1,000 gold accumulated in the lead for the XL squadron. Really just that jungle alone you would feel is where that lead is really accumulated.
I feel like with this dragon starting to come up in just a minute and a half though, this is going to be a classic XL. Sandu has his teleport available, will be able to get down, and this turret is very
damage
low.
Onto Bendy. Quickstep flashes forward for the ignite, but Monkus turns it around. That heal may just be enough to keep Bendy alive, and here's Rift looking for the kill into Venza as well, who's just running away. No avail. Rift will pick that one up. Looks like they're going to commit to try and push down this bot side. Good rotations from Enclave.
There was no need for Quickset to try and go that aggressive to get the turret. Not even get the turret, get the kill. It just means that Enclave are able to make the play, turn it around. Monkus, again, is out of the bot lane for some reason. And all that chip damage, everything that they've tried to pick up for this bottom lane has just gone to naught. The teleport actually from Poppy, this is very ambitious.
This is super ambitious. Looking to try and potentially knock them away. I don't even know. Zendo does teleport on in. Doesn't find anything for the teleport. That's going to be down now, I suppose. What it does allow is the rotation from Taxer and Rippy to head on over towards the Rift Herald to make sure they secure that. But oh no, Sendo, where are you going? Hammer Time knocks back one, but it's not even the one you want. It's Karma, and Bendy will pick up that kill. Yeah, I mean, question mark over the teleport play. And now Aaron, I mean, he just shows up for the lols.
I have no idea what Excel have been doing for the past 5 minutes. This entire thing has been a mess. We're going to have a replay to start to look at how this started to go wrong for them, but it's a good binding here. Great follow-up by Venzer as well. This is where you're like, great, we're happy. We've gotten everything that we need. We can now get this turret and really start to make this place happen. We've shut down Caitlyn because she's got no terror to try and chip away at. It works out great for them instead. Quickset overextends, gets caught out by Monkus, and that just started a very weird passage of play where Sendu teleports down, gives over Rift Herald because he's not on the top side of the map anymore. They end up losing out on the first blood turret as well because they picked it up in mid, and nothing for Excel came through from any of the thought process that they went through.
Yeah, in the bot side for sure, it definitely seemed questionable. Excel does pick up the first brick in the mid lane, the Rift Herald, and then they use that Rift Herald to take down the top. Oh no, they haven't. They just walked it down. Now Venzer though, against Rift. Good Ash Arrow, but look at the amount of damage he's putting down. Venzer may just turn this around though, with Quickstep coming as well. Rift dodging out the binding, but I don't think he can escape. Auto attacks will do the work. Holy moly, Venzer shuts down Rift.
And this is what I was talking about. If Excel are allowed to start getting themselves ahead, they've got a very big damage that can come, or not even ahead, just big damage that can come through from that first item completed onto the Ashe. Blade of the Rune King slows down Rift, means that they're able to get up that turret as well, and Excel do pick up a little bit for themselves, but Bendy and Hado are in trouble on the top side.
They are Rift. Rippy here, and that's Bendy deleted. Hado should be able to scurry away. For what looked like questionable plays from XL, well, that narrative has been reversed in just a very swift time. It looks like the gold lead that's been accumulated from these turrets that have been taken by XL are just starting to become a little bit too much for Enclave to deal with.
I'm glad that XL have got their head back in the game though. After that last play I thought, okay, maybe they're not quite thinking straight, but they're able to get a good turnaround there. Venzer kind of being the champion of that play, turning it around onto Rift, and then Taxer coming down, so they get the turret. Good rotation from Rippy to the top side as well to stop the counter pressure that was coming down from Bendy and Hado, and now they've started to stabilize. They've got good pressure coming through across the board as well, so it looks like it's going to be pretty good for these guys.
Yeah, normalized the game for sure for XL. And it's just Sendo, if he can keep his head on straight, follow the leader, then I think we're alright here for XL. However, ticking time bomb. Let's bring it back up because it's ticking away. You have to remember that Enclave's roster eventually will outscale what XL have brought to the Rift here. Obviously, that is a late game scenario. XL now need to continue pressuring on hard to make sure that doesn't become a reality.
They do have the tools for it though. We're already saying they picked up the Rift Herald, so that's going to work very well for them. They've gotten that mid lane turret down too. So they've broken the outer turrets across the board for Enclave. This means that Rift Herald has a heap more value. As it's placed down right now, actually I want to see how this push now goes in the mid lane, because you got 3 members for Enclave here and the Azir turret there as well.
Yep, that's going to be the Azir turret taken care of very quickly. Look at the damage being put onto the Rift Herald. I mean, it was going to run out of its cooldown at some point, so I guess they needed to use it, and there it is. That half health chunk. Arrow onto Aaron. Oh my gosh! Holy moly! Rippy just deletes the AD carry from Enclave. Massive troubles ahead, and Sendo moves on in.
No.
Locks on up. Monk as he gets taken on down. Aaron trying to run away. Is going to be able to for now. The Poppy Hammer doesn't get quite thrown down. A turret falls and 2 kills for XL. 5,000 gold in the lead.
And this is what I meant. It's so difficult for them to hold out against the compositions that XL are putting forward. Aaron only just completed his first item before that fight kicked off in the mid lane. Caitlyn has an item for her, but she's a long way from getting to those 3 items that we were already talking about. And this is XL already hitting their stride. Their mid game is where their power is. Luden's Echo for this Syndra is working wonders alongside that Blade of the Ruined King. Means it's nigh on impossible to escape away from the clutches of Venzer, and Enclave are just falling at the feet of XL.
Yeah, Bendy 1, 3, and 2 not having a great performance this series so far. Enclave are in trouble because we're only 3 minutes away from this Baron spawning. XL have so much team fighting pressure that really there's nothing that Enclave can do to contest. If XL are able to find just a single pick, you have to feel that XL can continue pressuring this game to a position where Enclave not really able to come back.
The only thing is, if XL do try and force an early Baron, there's a lot of poke that can come back at them from Bendy and from Aaron. And just chipping away at them in this Baron pit can work wonders for them, but they do have to be very careful about where they stand. XL can pretty much turn on a dime with the composition that they have. Venzer, that long range arrow for the engage. Rippy very quickly following up alongside Quickseth. So it's a bit of back and forth, but at the moment, XL pretty much have all the cards in their hand. They can start pushing in towards this bottom lane turret. You've got Poppy who's moving up to collect that wave in the top too, and this is just, they've no wave clear right now in this bottom.
No, there's no wave clear whatsoever. Good binding onto Bendy, tries to throw out the Caitlyn ult, aces high just to try and push Rippy back. That's a lot of chunk damage onto Venzer. Really good start to this fight if they wanted to find it. Here comes Rift over the wall, looking for Venzer. Doesn't quite find it. Instead goes Quickseth and trades his life for the kill. Now Monkus losing it, and he will go down. The Azir War separates the fight, but not before 2 members of Enclave go down, and only for the life of Quickseth, the support of XL. This turret siege is still on here, Gosu.
And it looked so good at the start. Venzer going very low, but the joys of having lifesteal and also for once a heal after several patches.
Oh no, Bendy! Good flash away from Sendo. Survives for now. That summoner has been forced, as well as the cleanse as well. That's another turret in favor of XL. Let's see how that one went down.
It looked great because you can get the procs coming through from the Stormrazers direct onto Venzer. And then Rift not quite able to connect with Venzer. The heal keeps him alive as well. And then look at the amount he's able to just steal off of Rift and everyone else throughout this fight. And untouched entirely because Hado and Aaron are trying to deal with Sendu in this front line.
Bendy was not in this fight at all.
No, couldn't do much. I mean, you've got to try and get away from Sendu. You've got to try and get away from Taxer as well, who's just been an absolute menace. So
I mean, that's fair, but he wasn't in the fight.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he was farming the minions.
Yeah, that'll help out.
I mean, that's a potential case of miscommunication after Rift's engage fails. Maybe Bendy goes, well, this is not worth our time anymore. Yeah. That was the only win condition, was that we locked up Venzer and killed him immediately. That's a problem for Enclave. We'll have to see how they decide to come back. We got 5,000 gold in the lead now for XL. The Baron has joined us on the Rift here. I have to see how keen XL are to make their way over.
The only thing I can think of that actually, I'm going to hang on to my point for a second.
Yeah, Bendy gets knocked back. The arrow connects onto the Gragas on the backline. Bendy knocked down. Quickseth trying to lock Monkus in place as well. You have to feel that just with the AD carry down, XL may feel comfortable to go towards the Purple Worm.
Yeah, Rift is on the opposite side of the map as well, and he doesn't have teleport, so they might try and go for it, but it's still early days. Still have to worry about a good chunk of poke that can come through. Instead, why not just grab yourself an inhib turret?
I mean, that works as well for me. I'll take that. Gonna be knocking Taxa towards the fight, just trying to clear the wave with the Gragas ultimate. Rift and Sendo having a bit of fun in top side, but oh my goodness, Hado. He got deleted by Rippy's ultimate once more. The turret falls in the mid lane. Aaron doing his best to try and force them all back with low health bars. But Rift now has to escape this top side, doesn't want to get caught out by the rest of the XL rotating squad.
I nearly feel like XL have diffused that ticking time bomb of Enclave. They're able to just delete any member on the map right now. You can see Gragas even has to be fearful of Rippy's engage, and Aaron tries to see if he can get onto Venzer and turn some of the rounds. He's kind of been the stalwart mid lane that Enclave need right now. You said in the last game, the big damage dealer for them. Still now trying to find that big play to turn it around for them. But Bendy on this Caitlyn has just not looked strong. They haven't found a way to make it work yet. They can't get the pushing power for it because Quickset is constantly taking this Morgana away from it. And I don't get this super high priority on it. Yes, it can do well. Yes, it's great that those crit items have come down, but it really has a singular playstyle, and Excel have just found a way to read it every time and shut down what they want to do.
Yeah, no, you're right there. Doesn't feel like it's been the priority that Enclave need in this series. Maybe we see an adjustment later on. Positioning also a big struggle, I think, for Bendy, just knowing that there is just so much burst that comes out.
How do you position against the 6-kill Syndra?
I mean, you can't. That's the problem. And that's the issue, is that both these teams pretty much locked in the exact same composition as they had in the previous game. I personally felt that that's great for XL. Don't change much. But Enclave, you need to really figure out if that's what you want. Ash Arrow throws out an ambiguous attempt from Venza. Won't connect onto anyone. Aaron's here to clear the way, so XL won't be able to get onto the inhibitor just yet. But yeah, this Syndra from Rippy doing a lot of work, and without the threat that was Rift to cause rotations away from the game, Rippy's been able to stay mid and rotate where the team needs him to find kills.
The good news is, though, Rift now has his 2 items. Ravenous Hydra Complete and Triforce. This is where it's the tipping point back in favor of the Camille. So Rift can now start to be a nuisance and really get through these towers if he's allowed time there. You can already see he's starting to chip away at that bottom lane turret. Inhib turrets could be next if Sendu is not able to deal with them, and I just don't think he can right now. Yes, you've got a Sunfire. Yes, you've got some extra little bit there, or armor there with the Ninja Tabi, but Rift can just kind of walk it off.
Yep, that's the turret going down. Definitely a silver lining is that Rift is a threat. With this though, XL moving towards the Baron Pit, looking to secure the vision around the area and push the waves in to force Enclave into positions where they can't really contest.
I really like what Quickset is starting to build at the moment though. He's moving up towards that Zhonya's Hourglass, and he's realizing, look, Sendu is going to be way away from most of these fights dealing with Rift. We've got to find someone else who can kind of be that big engage for us and get into the midst of it, and Quickset's taking that mantle on his shoulders, and going towards that means he can make the big play.
That's that tier 2 turret taken for the side of XL. Bendy pushes up the mid lane right into the turret, making sure that they can't look for an inhibitor push just yet. Really, Enclave have to give over these objectives outside of their base. There's no real way to contest them though. Bit of damage onto Taxa. A catch out there could have been huge, but clearly with the Black Shield, very difficult to do.
Yeah, it does make things a lot more difficult. The entire team of XL though is backing away now. They're going to start to replenish the ward line, see if they can get a little bit of a deeper vision control on that blue side of Enclave. And that's really where we're going to see the tough part for Enclave being. How do they try and keep the ward line in check when you've got to try and face check the Venzers, Arrow, Quickset? Like, there's a lot of stuff that can take a member off the map lickety-split. And I just don't really see how they're going to do it. Right now, Scuttle Crab would definitely be a good way of starting that one off.
Yep, no, Scuttle Crab, obviously free vision there. Deny that away from the XL squad, who are grouping up towards the mid lane. All but Rippy, who's going to be, I don't know, looking for the vision. I'm not entirely sure what he was doing there. There is a teleport ward in the bot side. Nothing that you have to be too careful about. Here's the Ocean Drake joining us once more. We'll have to see how much of a priority either of the two teams put onto it. You have to feel that Baron going to be the main beast of the Rift that we care about.
Yeah, I mean, XL might just take it as they come back out or start rotating down towards that bottom side, but there's no real pressure for them to go towards. It's not going to add a huge amount right now.
Good poke damage there from Aaron, really showing that this Azir is a bit of trouble. Ooh. Oh, but they go for the engage. Ash Arrow locks him up. The cleanse used to survive. Taxa at half HP, and he hasn't been able to get into the fight. Has to subjugate an AD carry, I think. They might be able to get this inhibitor. Is there a potential re-engage possibility? It doesn't look like the Camille's ready to teleport, but there are some good wards in the jungle to get behind if they wanted to. Just going to be the backport from Sendo. XL escaping up towards this Baron Pit.
A lot of vision in that area though for Enclave, and I don't really think they're going to go for it. I think it's just a case of trying to clear this wave back out away from that top lane turret, make sure that they've now got another lane that they can pressure, and make sure that they can relieve some of that pressure Rift is applying to Sendu in that bottom side. Rift actually is going to be the one picking up that Drake for them as Enclave start to push in towards the mid lane.
Yep, looking for this turret here. Should go down fairly swiftly. Able to find their own. A flash forward though onto Aaron. Yeah, can they follow it up is the question. Emperor's Divide disengage the fight as the Ocean Drake gets picked up.
Aaron with that play though was put a big target on his back. No cleanse, no flash, and Venzer and Quickset will both be looking directly towards that bird and seeing if they can go on the hunt.
Well, there's just a two-man Baron attempt here from XL. Starting it up with the Ashe and the Poppy, but Tax will get involved in just a second. Rippy and Quicksef making sure they can't go forward. He goes for the kill. Aaron tries to dive forward for the shield, doesn't quite find it. Rippy now looking for Bendy, but loses his life to the AD carry. Quicksef has to run. Doesn't want to lose his life as well. This Baron still in a position where they can find it, but they're going to lose the inhibitor in the bot side. And maybe Monkus goes for another. Still. Oh no, never mind. The Poppy Hammer this time denies it, but Bendy looks to get into the fight, tries to put down the damage. Monkus once more denied of getting over the wall, and this time they secure the Baron. XL do, but they might just lose more lives. Monkus trying to stop the ports on Taxa whilst Rift
He's still
takes
on the base.
one! Nexus turret looking for a second, has to finally fall back. Taxa will get denied. It's going to be Venza stopping this push from Rift. Lots and lots and lots won over by the Camille here, who gets denied the hook shot by Sendo. I mean, does Rift escape this? I think he probably does eventually, unless Quicksef lands the binding in just a second. Hook shot, there it is, to escape. And I mean, Sendo's going to chase him to the ends of eternity. Whew, let's do a recap here, because I think we need it.
Well, I mean, it's kind of gone. XL got the Baron. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster. XL got the Baron. Great. Losing majority of your base, not so hot.
Yeah.
So this is kind of where I'm like, right. XL, if they can keep Camille away from this split push, is going to be great. I think that's going to help out quite a bit having that Baron on Sendu, but that was most certainly not the way they expected that one to go. They thought they could get the Baron a lot faster, but good pressure coming through from Enclave and forcing Sendu to try and deal with Monkus coming in. We're going to have a replay so we can look at this again, but here's the fight. Rippy flashes in to try and get the engage, and or to get the kill. The good reactive play coming through from the Azir Aaron meant that he was able to get a shield come down, but look at the very split calls coming through from XL. Rippy's flashing in to get the kill, whereas all three members, or the other three members, are still on the Baron, and it just makes for a very split fight and very split decision making. But I'm gonna hang on because XL looking for the play in this bottom side of the map.
Yeah, they're pushing in the bottom side. Taxa, wow, look at his health bar. Almost loses it, or Sendo falls out as well. Rift right now is split pushing up top. Keep that in mind. As XL break open the bot side base. Now looking for the bot side inhibitor as well. There are super minions in the base as well. Rift will be forced to backport, join the fight, because this could just be game. Actually, he's teleporting behind them. Rift trying to get on in. Taxa going to be the one to meet him, greet him. See here, Rift over the wall, looking to try and find Rippy or Venza. Maybe he'll just exhort XL out of the base and, you know, see them out.
I mean, they got what they wanted though. Both Nexus turrets are down, 2 inhibs down as well, and this is starting to look like XL's game. I don't see where Enclave can really get the big engage unless Rift can kind of worm his way into the back line, maybe take out Venzer or Rippy on the backside, or keep them busy for the rest of the fight.
I mean, that teleport as well, huge cooldown now.
Exactly.
And Sendo has the advantage over it as well. Really rough time because, yeah, you can split push Rift, but you can't join a team fight, and XL will know that.
Yeah, I mean, it does help that they've got their own super minions in the bottom lane, but that's not going to last very long. The mid lane is really where I'm worried for. Rift can try and push that out and join them in the top lane, but with how explosive XL can be and how quickly they can get these fights going, by the time Rift joins, it's already going to be decided who the winner of this scrap is.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Rift currently hiding in bushes. Is now spotted. XL going to look to try and push on forward. The mid lane inhibitor has respawned as well. Going to give a bit of respite towards Enclave. XL though are making their way over to make sure that thing stays dead for a little bit longer. Rift has backported as well. Is looking to be part of this fight here. Let's see how this one does go down. It might just be a brave front-facing defense here as Taxa goes in, loses half of his life. Monkus almost goes down to Rippy. Venza taking damage on the backline. Bendy, oh, Quickstep has got on top of him. Can he survive is the question. Yes, he can for now. That's going to be Quickstep dead. Sendo as well. Oh, Grift, he's found the backline. This is a double kill for the Camille. They're all dead. It's an ace for Enclave, and they only lose Monkus.
And we didn't even get to touch on the items that had come through for Enclave. 2 items complete on the Azir, 3 complete on the Caitlyn, and they finally got the damage to beat their way through Excel's front line. There are super minions in the base right now, and they are rushing for the Nexus.
They are rushing indeed, and Rift and Haddo will happily join them. Look at them go! Only one more Nexus turret to take on down, and he will take it down swiftly. Can you believe it? 2 games in a row, Excel go up, but the Enclave roster hold on firm, find their one window of opportunity, and strike true. It's 2-0.
How do they do it though? That's the second time it's been like, they're out of this, it's over, Enclave can't come back into it, and 1 fight is all that they need, and they just finish it up.
XL just never, ever deal with their mid-game properly. They just don't. They can't capitalize. They can never somehow convert it. A major thorn in their side has been that split push from Rifty every single game. They let Enclave draft for a late game, and then they let Enclave get to a late game. I mean, you had a 6-1 Syndra. You should have been going in every time that ultimate was up, looking for picks, just starting the fight off, just being aggressive as physically possible. It's kind of sad because we've seen XL be much better than this, but I'm really impressed with Enclave. I think they hold on, they play to their win conditions. Bendy's a monster on Caitlyn. Rifty is single-handedly carrying this mid-game. Without Rifty, they would be dead in the water, I think, in some instances, because he trades objectives all the time. He constantly applies pressure in the side lane. Sendo can't keep up with him, and you can see the glaring difference between these top laners right now.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there, is playing towards win conditions. Enclave have been doing that, is try to hold on and get to the later stage of the game. XL keep drafting these comps that do incredibly well underneath sieges, in turrets, where they can start. You saw exactly the 6-0 Syndra who could snap back onto one of the backline members and take a good chunk of their damage off with just 1 combo. You then, when you've got that man advantage, then go for the dive using Taxer. You've got Venzer with that ultimate, and that's the way you want to play this style of comp. Instead, they're kind of rushing off to the Baron and they get picked off there.
I mean, I'd really be interested to see how much damage that, you know, the Syndra was able to do, because it felt like Rippy was blowing people up. In fact, there it is. Look, wow, huge amount of damage coming out of the Syndra. But equally, this time, it's met with Bendy on this Caitlyn. Had a really rough start, but was just untouched on the backline for too long. And yeah, Rippy's throwing out this damage, but it wasn't onto Bendy. And if he was able to blow up the Caitlyn, or even just blow up the Azir consistently in team fights, then that could have been a different game for XL.
There was nothing to deal with Bendy in the backline, really. Poppy just not going to do the job. Eventually, she's good, and she's a decent frontline tank, but you need to have Rippy getting into there. Too much frontline. Rippy was being threatened by the Camille. Ash was being threatened, Venza was being threatened by the Camille. I personally would have preferred Varus in that situation. I think he's got way better mid-game. I think his damage output's better in the mid-game. I think they could have capitalized a lot better with the Varus pick. I understood the premise behind the Ash, but you're facing up so many cleanses on, I believe there was a cleanse on Haddo, on Bendy, and on Eren. So there was 3 cleanses. You know you're going to face into that because they did it the previous game.
Yeah, exactly. They did it in the previous game, so you know what's going to change here. You might as well have the poke that the Varus can pull off. You know, he's not just an alternate.
He just spikes way better in the mid-game with damage, and they could have capitalized much more easily. A lot of times, although I saw the Ash kite the Camille nicely sometimes, most of the time I just looked at Ash's damage output and I was like, that's awful. It's just bad.
I'm pretty sure that if you'd hit the same person with the damage that was coming through from Rippy and a Varus for Venzer, that would have just been a one-shot. Like, they would have just been gone. If you'd combo that correctly, you can just delete someone from the fight and then just push straight through the rest.
I hate to tell you boys, but the flip-flop price is going through the roof right now, and you will be buying next time if you want to buy at its highest point.
I don't revert my predictions. I just, you know, happily stare into the camera with like a cold face of despair, like, help me, I'm not meant to make predictions. I'm a play-by-play caster. All my predictions have been wrong so far, and I'm okay with that.
So, as we are heading towards this next game, now I've got to rephrase that question to you. Not even rephrase, just going to ask you the same question. Are XL doing the right things?
The draft is definitely going well. It's just their execution in-game isn't quite what they need to get. Look, we've seen this before where Excel are down, but they're most certainly not out. And I want to see if maybe they just go for a different style here, if they're not going super heavy on this
He's
kind of...
predicted a reverse sweep.
I mean,
not predicting.
it's classic
It's just,
Excel.
yeah.
I mean, it is classic Excel. If you were going to reverse sweep, it's what Excel does best.
Now's the time to do it.
I am one of those people, though. I'm looking at this now. I'm staring down this game. I don't see Excel reverse sweeping unless they change their draft.
And I think that's a really strong testament to what Enclave have done. You know, they did go up 2-0 in the last week in their series against Excel, but weren't able to close it out. That would be a huge thorn in your side for the rest of the week, knowing the potential that you might go up against Excel at a later stage into the tournament again. You cannot let them do that to you again. So, if Enclave have gone away and learned from their mistakes, then you have to just assume that they close out this next game strong and call it 3-0 and, you know, get their retribution. However, I mean, Excel good at mid-series series adjustments. Like,
yeah, no, we know they
it's so
can
hard to it's so hard to come into this next game and go, yeah, this is just a simple 3-0 for Enclave.
I don't think they can let them have Caitlyn. I think they've got to put. I mean, the thing is, like,
But before this, you were saying I don't think they should be picking Caitlyn. Like,
no,
I
never
think
said that. No, I think Caitlyn's a great pick on the current
maybe.
patch.
I think the difference that they make here is, I know it sounds weird because Tax has been playing great now, is get rid of the Trundle. I don't really see, when they're going in for the combos that they have, I don't see what Trundle adds to it.
Get Tax on a carry, maybe. Like, he popped off.
I like it. I actually think you stick him onto Sejuani. I think you're already got this long range engage that's coming through. If you can get that onto a priority pick, having that the Glacial Prison that can follow up on that could be absolutely wondrous for them. And you've still got that big beefy front line who can dive.
You can't give Sendo a tank this next draft because he's going to get decimated again. He's just not playing versus Rifty the way he wants to. Enclave are going to have red side last pick. They're going to counter pick Sendo. I think you just have to go all out and say, right, let's ban a couple of heroes, put Sendo on Na, maybe give him a good
first rotation Na.
The thing is,
kind of, yeah, maybe, yeah.
So Enclave banned Aatrox on blue side. So what you could end up having is that they try and leave the Aatrox open, see if they can get their hands on it,
maybe.
Or else they just get a super strong pick for themselves.
I think Enclave will end up banning it. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, it could be the final game of this series. Not if Excel have anything to say about it. See you soon. Get the